Hello, beloved. I trust that you're doing well. My name is Wagio Njoroge. Welcome to Journey with God. And today I will be sharing a personal story. Hey, it's a testimony. And if you have been there waiting on God, desiring that He will do something upon your life, and you've been wondering what's up, are you in the wrong? Are you doing the right thing? Are you in the right path? I will encourage you that today probably you get answers and be able to know that God got your back and that your waiting is not in vain. So this will be Journey with God in waiting. And I think something I'll share that is relatable to anyone, to many of us, is waiting in regards to marriage. And the reason why I'm sharing this, okay, it can apply to any other situation of your life. But I believe this is something that's more relatable to me. Reason being, I'm already I've already passed my late 20s. So, and a question that has been always asked: when are you going to get married? When are you bringing that man? When are you going to give birth? At least get a baby. That's, I think, one of the most frequent things that run to anyone who has passed, quote unquote, a time that people think that you're supposed to be somewhere. Let's say, for example, marriage. I'm not sharing. I know marriage, the issue about marriage and waiting on God in regards to marriage is something that has been spoken for too long. There's so many videos and YouTube channels that have tried to tackle this, and many other times we wonder what's really happening. Why are we sharing this? But anyway, I'll share on my end as a testimony because I know God has done it for me and He has helped me. So if you're interested to hear my story, continue watching. Like, subscribe to this channel, and share it with your friends, and share with anyone who has waited on God in regards to marriage. And so I'll start a small story about my life. So I know I've shared a lot, but I say this is Journey with God. He's the one who has helped me to pass all through this. First of all, I don't know why. Second of all, it's because probably, not even probably, I know He chose it for a reason and for a purpose. My life is a testimony of what God does and what He's going to do, because I believe everything and every stage that I have passed in my life, there is a reason and a purpose for it. I always remember the time that I shared in my story about my journey with God in healing and also in sickness, is that when we were in those hospital wards, waiting area, and this one word God gave to my father, and He said, there's a reason and a purpose for everything. And now I came to realize it's actually in the Bible when I was informed to. And that's when I bumped into the scriptures that she was sharing more of God, thanking God for every situation, because He knows when He shares and says there's a season and a time for everything. So I believe it's a season that God helps us, we know, to pass in every area of our lives. And He has enabled me to pass for a reason and for a purpose. Sometimes I'm like, God, I need a break with all this. But He says, no, my child, I'm with you and I'm going to help you. And for a long time, since I was young, okay, there are two sides. One side is this. I'm taking my lemon tea. So, growing up, I grew up in a humble family. In my growing up, I remember my mom and my dad staying together quite well. There's a time that my dad used to work away from home, so most of the time he'll be coming over the weekend. We spent time together. Then later on, after several years, we stayed together. We started staying together, so most of the time we could see my parents together. It was a good family, and it's still a good family. And I remember one time we relocated to this plot, and when we relocated, I didn't realize how much chaotic families can be. Sorry to say, I had never seen this. Because, first of all, I remember our neighbor. This woman used to be beaten so much by the husband. I remember one time she was late to come from church, and when she was late, the man went in and took three branches, fresh ones, and when he took them, when he waited up until the wife came, closed the door behind, and beat that woman. We say beating the hell out of that woman. That woman scream, which is which? She was crying for help for hours. There's no one who was able to help her until I think the husband got tired of beating her. I think it was so bad that people tried to break in that door. There's no one who was able to help her. Thankfully, she was able to. She did not. She had she had wounds, and I think this really broke me up. Another time, there's this lady who used to live in our house in the same plot. She used to sell in a club, but night in, night out, I remember every time crying for help. At night, you will hear her crying for help, and most of the time it's because she was raped. She could get raped by men who she came with in the house. Some paid her, some could not pay her. When they don't want to pay her, they would beat the hell out of her. And I remember most of the time she could be told, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And she will say, I don't have any other means for me to earn. But I think with this, another lady, and that one wasn't that critical, but the same plot, this lady came to her for refuge because she had gone and consulted some witch doctor, I think. And, they say these things. Oh God, why am I laughing? So whatever she went to consult the witch and everything, they started, because she could not be able to give the sacrifices that she was supposed to pay, she said at night these things will come out. They will come and beat her up during the day and everything. But later on, the husband came for her. This time she had run away from Nakuru, came for refuge in this place, but you could hear every day, most of the time during the day, her screaming for her life because she's saying she's getting beaten, she's getting strangled and everything. And the husband came for her and rescued her. But for her story, what really made sense was not even making sense. I was like, where would you go to seek for more wealth? Because from her story, we heard that she was seeking for wealth, but it did not come the way she expected because she had to do all these things and she wasn't able to keep it up. But anyway, to give the sacrifice of the altar, whatever she was serving. But anyway, why am I sharing this story? The reason why I'm sharing this story is because this built a background somehow. Not even it's a background of how the lady who knew how a beautiful family can be, or when family is united, now is being exposed to where families are not at peace at all times. Sorry, I don't know what's happening outside there, but anyway, being exposed to where families are now fighting, women are being beaten out, there is all this that is happening to them, and this, for some reason, it created some fear within me. I didn't know, but years later, I shared also in another video, I can't remember which one I shared. I just shared a snippet of how these people who are entrusted upon my life, my teachers, they are the ones who are trying to sexually molest me and everything. Some sexually harassing me, and at some point yes, at some point, it happened. I got raped and everything, and this made me hate men. To be honest, I really hated them, because in all these stories, one thing that was probably constant was that men were not people that one can be able to trust. this woman, I could not understand why a man could beat the hell out of a woman just because she went and spent time in the house of the Lord. Because I remember this woman, she used to serve in a certain church that was in our neighborhood. The man wasn't a believer, so I don't know what really happened, why you have to beat your wife all this because she went to church. And I could not be able to understand why you could rape a woman several times just because she requested what you had agreed upon for you to pay her, you did not pay her, or just because she was serving this place that is in a club, that's why you had to treat her the way that you're treating her. I could not understand why my parent took me to school so that you can be teaching me, but then at the end of the day, what you want to do is sexually harass me. It's you to rape me or do these things to me. It really created some fear within me. I really hated men. For my father, I did not hate him because, like I shared, my father, there is nowhere he has ever tried to do any stupid things to me, And I have never seen him hitting my mom. I have never seen him hitting anyone close to me except anyone. Probably you have done a mistake and he will beat you up. But anyway, not like he wants to kill you. It's the normal displaying that a parent can do. Okay. So, and also I could hear stories of how women were beaten, how women were killed. I think even right now in our country, Kenya, there are so many cases of men killing women. And you hear how things happen to them. But anyway, I thank God because in 2019, I believe I received my healing because I came to understand why I hate them and why I no longer want them in my life. So this builds another story about my life. So the whole thing. So at first, my first years of me growing up, I hated men. But now comes to the other side of me after getting healing. Why is it that I'm not married? Why? I have received so many questions asking me, when are you bringing this guy? I think when I reached 25 years and people, I've already graduated. I got this job. It was a good one. Now they're like, okay, in your degree, you do not come with 2 degrees. That is marriage certificate and degree, the other degree. Now you have gotten a job. Why don't you have this? Okay, I reached late 20s and they're like, why are you still here? But anyway, at first I really questioned myself. Whoa, how many times have I questioned myself? How many times have I cried myself to sleep? How many times have I hated family gathering? To be honest, so many times I really hated going to family gathering. Cause I could not understand why you continue asking me, why are you not married? Why don't you have children? Okay, it happens I'm the firstborn of a family of 5. And my 2 siblings who are after me, they have children and married. Okay, at some point they are married. God, am I sharing? Anyway, they have children. Let me share that. They have children. I mean, this time, they have not even seen a sign of me bringing anyone in our house. Okay, how I was brought up. I was brought up in a typical traditional family. I don't know. Okay, my family, yes, it's a typical traditional one, yes. So, you don't bring men in your house. I bring a boyfriend in my house. Oh, Jesus, how? No, I can't. So, there's no time they have ever seen me bringing anyone in our house. And I don't think, no. They have never seen me. There's one thing my parents ever told me is that, Wagio, I don't want to ever see you with a man standing on the road talking. How boyfriends and girlfriends sometimes talk on the road and they are just having their good time. If my father ever when I was growing up, ever found you doing that, he was not happy about it. Anyway, maybe they saw me once or twice because there's that age that you guys are just seeing you and they're like, I want you, I want that, I want that, I want that. Even they're not sure what really they want. But anyway, so many times I asked God, why me, why am I not married? By the way, to be honest, I really wanted to get married at 23 years old. I thought I was super ready. I remember I was like, I completed my degree at 23 years old. So I was like, after 23, the next thing that is good, after I graduate, the next thing was that I'll get married, or when I'm waiting for my graduation, I'll be married or something. So I remember at first, during this season in campus, I did not understand that I hated men. I did not understand, by the way. But I could see myself, I really wanted to have fun. Just have fun, that vibing. But if you get something that you want to be serious with me, I'll just run away. But anyway, I actually had a boyfriend after like primary, the stupid things that you do after not primary, secondary school. But it did not work out. Our 1 year relationship ended up that the guy took someone else, preferred someone else, not me. But anyway, I'm okay. So one of the things that I said after that was that I'm not going to date. I made a personal decision that I'm not going to get married. Sorry, I'm not going to date during my time of campus. And I somehow kept my word for like 1 year. We broke up when I was in second year, first semester. So I kept my word up to my 4th year, first semester. And the reason why I kept that word is because I thought like I will date with this guy for 1 year, then after graduation you get married. So there was this dude. And this is where I think this is where, I remember I also shared that that in 2014, my second year, I got how do you call it? I got an encounter and I rededicated my life to Christ. And when I rededicated my life to Christ, there was something that God was sharpening in me, because I didn't realize I had it before, but was hearing his voice. I could hear his voice actually. And during this 2014, he could sharpen my voice. I was so discerning that I could tell someone could just approach me and I'm like, there's something wrong with you. There's something not okay with you. But I remember even when I was young, I could tell my mom, there's something wrong with this person. There's something, and I could hate them. Like there will be that when I'm close to that person, I'll be so much agitated that I don't want to spend time with them. I will just want to leave, But anyway, it came to 2014, God started teaching me through his word about how God speaks to people, and I didn't realize it was that was the case. So when I was 4th year, first semester, I remembered a guy had asked me out and I had not said yes yet. So I decided, let me say yes to this guy. But there's something I had learned with my work with God for the 2 years. I learned that in every situation, I need to ask God about anything and everything. So when this guy came in my life and asked me out, I went to God and asked him. I told God, is this the guy that you want me to be with? And I went to a time of prayer. I actually there's somewhere, I don't know if you know me and you know where I used to go to campus to pray. There was this space that we used to go, and it was a school island. It was an island. So there's a river. We used to go and spend time there because the school could not give us a place where we could pray. The school decided that their school island, that's where we are going to pray. So I used to spend hours here in prayer. I remember this time, I really prayed for this guy. And I was like, God, is this the guy that you desire for me to have? And I had spent time with this guy at some point, like in first year, and we were really, really close. But it got to some point, I was like, it started feeling we were disengaged. There's something that was not we were not getting along the way we used to. So when he asked me if I'll be the girlfriend now in that year, I think the last days of that year, I hesitated. I did not realize why I hesitated, because I was like, this guy, I used to like you, but why am I hesitating right now? And you asked me, and you remember I had a choice, I had a plan that I would get married after fourth year. I told God, okay, you need to give me an answer. And do you know, God is so faithful that he took me to his word, and he told me, I think it's Jeremiah. I love reading this scripture because not like really, really love, but anyway, I still remembered. Sometimes I forget the actual place. But it's in let me see. So it is in Jeremiah, and it says, okay, I'm using another version. I think I need to get the version that I got in, because it said, okay, the people that you have trusted have rejected. Hey, I'm like, God, what are you saying? And then he said the next word was, out of you will come from, because if I reject now, if I don't believe in God, the answer was, but if you not if I trust this, okay, if I go ahead and trust this person, I will get out of that place with my hands on the head. So have you ever seen, anyway, I was like, this might be the devil. By the way, that's what I said. I said, no, this is the devil, this is not God, because I was like, this guy was straight, he was okay, he was really, really, really good. He was not really good, sorry, according to my physical perception, he was a good guy. There's no time that I ever caught him drinking. There's no time I ever got him with women around. But I did not realize what was up. So I neglected the word of God after he told me this. And I told God, I'm going to go ahead with it and prove to you that this guy is the guy for me. Did I know? We only dated for like 3 months. I think even 3 months did not end. And it was the worst time of my life, probably, in terms of spending time with someone. I had, if people can attest who knew I was dating during that time, the whole demeanor of me, the whole everything about me had really, really changed. I was now walking away from God. I had really walked away from God. I sinned. I did so many stupid things during this time. 16. And I always, as there's something that I usually say, with my 3 months with this guy, it made me stay away from God for like 3 years. It really costed me. It costed me the time I used to listen, to hear God clearly. It made me feel impure at every cost. It made me hate myself. It made me hate God because of everything that happened in this relationship. Most of the time, I blame myself, I think the 3 years that I spent, because after we broke up we started dating the first year. By the way, was the first sem of fourth year. And before the semester ended, I had already made up my mind we are going to break up, and I think we broke up in around June. And it took me since this time, 2016, no, 20, hey, am I forgetting, 17, around 2 to 3 years, to around 2019. That's when I got the healing that I was talking about. And many of the times that I blame myself, I was like, why didn't I listen to God? I walked away from God and I told God, why didn't you warn me? Actually, He already warned me, but there's I realized there's so many times that God warns us about something, but at the end of the day, we are blaming Him because of the decision that we made. And it's us ourselves that we made that decision, because I believe God had already spoken to me about the guy and told me no to this person, but later on I choose the decision to go my way. I think there's somewhere that people say, you have the will to do everything that you want to. But anyway, I think it's right and wise that you be guided by God with every decision that you're going to make, because I believe God spoke to me. It's only me, through my ignorance, that I decided to walk away. But I believe what the word says in Genesis, is it 50:20, that says, what the enemy meant for evil, God turned it for good? I'm paraphrasing, I think so. But anyway, God using this situation, I think when God led me through this time, I think the restoration that came with it was that God helped me to be able to know I actually hear His voice. And when I hear His voice, from that time henceforth, when I received the healing that I was desiring for in 2019, that's when I started knowing that actually God speaks to me. And from that time, I became really, really serious with God. And I also came serious with God, with listening to His voice in areas that He's speaking to me about. And that's why I'm saying this is my journey with God in waiting for marriage, because after that, men did not stop coming after me. Yes, men did not stop from asking me for a date. And I remember that story. What I decided, or the one thing that God helped me to do, is that to pray about everyone and everything that comes in my life. I pray for the people that come in my life. I pray for the things that come in my life. When you give me something, I pray about it. I pray for it. When you come into my life, whether you are a woman or a man, I pray for you, because something else also happened to me in campus about this lady. That's a story for another day, but it also taught me that I need to be asking God about anything and everything. And after that story, after I got healed and God helped me to start liking men and love them, and not feel weird when I'm around them, I started praying about every person that has come in my life. And I cannot count the number of people who have come in my life, but there's something powerful that I think God helps me in every time. I pray, God, if it's your will for me to be with this person, let it be. If it's not your will, remove them from my life or expose them. So I'll give two scenarios? Yes, two scenarios. So there was this guy. We were colleagues after that. We were colleagues, and he was a nice guy. He wore quite well, good suits. I love spending time. I love the way he used to talk. I love the way he used to make me, be better version of myself. And one time we had discussed that we were going to start a business before even we started talking about ever dating or anything. But when we started opening this business and registering, there was something that was not adding up. And I told God, you need to expose whatever is happening. So the guy started asking me out for a date. And I was hesitant to go for it. And every time I'm hesitant, I'm like, God, what's really happening? Why am I not able to go? So I decided to do what? I told God, if it's your will and purpose for us to be together, you're going to explain. And I told God, I would love to go, yes, on a date with this guy. But if it's your will for us to be together, I know you're going to reveal it to me during this date. And if it's not your will, you're going to expose it. We go for a date. Because I was living around town, so around the area, so I got prepared. We were supposed to meet around 6 p.m. I'm at 5:30, no, 6 p.m. So he told me, I wait for him. I waited for him to around 6 p.m. He did not come. I told God, okay, what's really happening? The guy was telling me, I'm coming. He was held up somewhere. It reached around 6:30, 7 p.m. I was still patient, waiting. Then it arrived at around 7:30. I think that's when the guy came. We went and met up. And when you are in this, oh, when we walked in, okay, he was driving. So I got, in my mind, I was like, okay, he took it in a certain parking lot. And I was like, okay, maybe from here, we are supposed to walk to the place. And he tells me we get inside the car to talk a little bit, then go to the hotel. Then I was like, okay, it's already late. And I don't want to get myself late to where I live. I live where I used to live. I did not have people that I can call to take me to that place. And it wasn't very far away from our stage. So it was somewhere very close that I could walk, but sometimes I did not trust the area. I didn't know a lot of people. So I told him, I think we are wasting time. Why not go to the hotel and just talk inside there if we are eating, because he had told me that we are going to a certain restaurant. So we go here. The guy wasn't, when we sat down, he wasn't paying attention to me. For me, if I'm going for a date with you and you're not paying attention to me, that's a red flag. For me, I don't like it. The next thing he did was that he started talking. What if this night ends with us having sex? And I was like, what? I looked at the guy and asked him, are you, I thought I had the wrong thing. He's like, no, what if it ends us doing this, doing that? He was already planning how he's going to spend time in my house. And I was like, dude, you already know I'm born again and I don't entertain fornication. So what are you saying? Then he said, you're attractive, blah, 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 that's shenanigans. And I told him no. So I said, okay, I'm still weighing my options. And the next thing, I told God, okay, you need to give me another one. Maybe he's out of his mind or something. So we completed. I was so much mad. I think I did not complete my food. Then we woke up. We stood up and walked back to the parking lot. And we walked to the parking lot. The guy tells me that he wants to take me for a concert. I was like, dude, we had not planned that we were going for any concert because it was on a Friday night. He said, don't worry, we are just going to go and get out. Then I told him, which concert? It was a secular concert. Oh, God. I was like, are you serious? Are you okay in your mind? By the way, I gave him that look. Are you okay in your mind? You actually know Wagio. You know her. You know what she stands for. And you're telling me you're going to take me, instead of taking me to Kesha anyway, at night vigil, you're taking me for a concert, a secular one. Oh God. I was like, am I? No. I told him no. And when I refused, the guy started shouting at me. I was like, Father Lord, I'm already done for the night. I'm done. I just walked out. Anyway, at least the guy kept his word because it was already late and he actually took me to my place. Not to my place, an actual place. He did not get to know where I live. I told him where he's going to stop and drop me. And when he dropped me, I thank God for his people and his angels because I met someone that I knew. It was already around 11, I think 11:30. So this person escorted me because the guy was trying to force his way to come to my house, and I was like, you cannot come to my place. So he actually know where he just got to know where I live, area, but not the house or the route I used. And I went. Now comes another time. This guy asked me out. And every time we are planning to go out, there's something just happens. Maybe he's called for an event and that and that and that. So it came to this year. It was, I think, 2020 or 2021. Before COVID. Just before COVID. So this guy asked me out. And when he asked me out, like I said, every time he plans something, nothing happens, Maybe an event happens on my end or his end. So it comes to Valentine's of that year, I think it was 2020, or there was a dinner that was happening in our Bible study. So he had promised that he's going to pay, and we are going to go together because every time he's not finding time. So when time came, and he told me I should not pay, he's the one who is going to pay. And we waited and waited. We were together in this Bible study. Why am I laughing? So when it came to that time, dinner was 1 week away and he had not already paid. And right now, he has started ghosting me and everything. So I told God, what's really happening here? So it came to Valentine's. And this Valentine's, I was just going through my status. And you know what I find? I find this guy had posted, he has posted a woman and a child. And I was like, okay, what's happening here? Then the next thing, I think the same week after Valentine's, he now post man, this child, and woman. I know it seemed like a photo shoot. So because the first picture, the same dresses that they had, clothing that they had, this is the same in this picture. And right now, I was like, Wagio, don't see this is a sign. This man is actually married. And I told God, thank you that you never met with this guy, because I could feel if I ever met with him, I will just beat him up. And I was like, no. Later on, he talked to me and he started saying he was held up, and I was like, dude, you're already married and you already have a child. Do you want me to help you in adultery? But anyway, I wasn't ready for that, and I'm not planning to do that to anyone. So later, other people have come, and every time God is like exposes something, or sometimes he just says no. Am I laughing? But this story was funny. That time I was like, Father, when am I going to stop seeing this drama? And you know, the other guy, I had forgotten. This first guy I was saying about the drama that he gave. Do you know what? What's up? I came to find out they were staying with the baby mama. Yeah. I could not understand every time that he's calling. There's a child crying in the background. But anyway, I came to realize during the same night, he actually was leaving the baby. But anyway, we thank God for the deliverance and that he never made me walk in certain way. So why am I sharing these stories? And you know, later on it came to, when family started pressuring me a lot. Not my immediate family. I think we just spoke with them. I just spoke with them and I told them, when God decides for me, I'll get married at that time. And it came to now my nuclear family, extended family. And this time we went for a gathering. And they started questioning, why is my child, why does my other siblings have children I don't have, why are they married and I'm not married? At that time they were married, why am I not married? And I left that gathering and I went to my room. Okay, I left earlier than anyone else because I was going back to work. And this time when I went home to my room, I knelt down and I cried. I really cried to God, and I told God, why did you make me like this? Why did you make me to go through all this? Is it there is something wrong with me? Is it that a sin I have committed? Is it because I did not believe? Is it because that this guy, you told me that I'm not going to date, I started dating them? And God in his mercy, he just quieted me with his love, and he told me, Wagio, continue trusting me and waiting upon me. And I remember he gave me this peace that no man can be able to give. And he told me he's going to make it happen at his time. And he started bringing me word from different people. Maybe I go online and I found this story because I went and I met a friend who has not been married yet, and she's in her 40s. I went and I met this woman who was married at 39, another one at 42, another one at 38. And he told me, I'm the one who kept them. I'm the one who helped them in this season in time. And he took me through a memory lane and told me, Wagio, through all this, do you think it's because of a mistake that you did? Do you think it's because you made a mistake? Do you think it's because, because there's so many scenarios? Because I remember there's this time we went for this gathering somewhere in a Bible study. This woman, she was courageous enough to tell me to my face, the reason why I'm single in my late 20s at that time was that it's because I made a mistake and I did not choose someone. God brought someone in my life and I did not choose. I left that place bitter. I went home and I cried. And I told God, why? So I made a mistake. Is it because of this guy and this guy? And I made a mistake that I went and I almost went and told this guy, start dating me because of this and this. Maybe I made a mistake because I rejected you. But God reminded me at every time I've given you an answer, a clear, definite answer about who your guy, if a guy is your guy or he's not. Because I remember this guy, I thought maybe I made a mistake by saying no to them. For this one, his answer tarried because from the time I inquired from God, I think it took like 2 years. But every time God was giving me hints, because it gave me hint of many times this guy already was demeaning me. Many other times he used to not talk. How do I say it? He did not appreciate who I was. And many other times he wanted me to be lower from my standard of who I am, And many other times he told me that I have put so much high standard that no man is able to keep it up. And I went and asked God, is it that I'm asking too much? And I realized, no, it's not because I was asking too much. It's because He has chosen me. There is a reason for my life and there is a purpose for my life. And it's not like for everyone else. And later on it was shown that this guy, at our last moments of us conversing, he accused me of so many things and I didn't like it. And I told God, probably this is the reason why, because not at every single time that you're given and you have an argument, you're talking badly about someone and you just want to put them down. And God is so much faithful. Because I remember there's a time I used to have a dream about this guy and I thought he was my guy. And at some point God told me to surrender him. And I think this taught me, I don't know if you have ever read a book by God is a Matchmaker by Derek Prince and Ruth. And when you read through this book, you're able to be given the reason why God brings men and women together. Sorry, I was sharing that. I don't know if you have ever read the book by Derek Prince and Ruth, and shares why God brings two people together. And this man shares the story of the first wife and the second wife. You have to read the book so that you understand why there are two women in his life. And in both of his marriages, the first one, the wife died. The second one, no. Yeah. So, and when he was sharing this, he made me to realize, because the first woman, she got married at around 40, in her 40s. And was it 40s or 40 somethings? And 40s. Then the other one, both women were in their 40s. But the first one, she had never been married. And she was sharing how God was preparing her to get married to this man. Then the second one, the same thing. God delivered her. There's so much that happened to her life. But there's something that she was noting. Every time you could see through her story was that God was preparing her to be with this man. And I believe this is the same case with us. If you have not yet been married yet, in your 30s or in your 40s or in your late 20s, because I believe most of the people start putting some numbers to people. I don't know why at this time. But whether you be married young or later on in your life, there's a reason for that. And God is preparing you for this man that you're going to get married to, or this woman you're going to marry, because I believe there are some men who are in their late 20s, their late 30s, their mid 30s, their mid 40s, and some have had even their 50s, they have not yet married. But I believe it's because God is doing a preparation, or He's teaching you something. Because I believe in my scenario, there was a time that God was healing me because of these traumas that I received when I was young. There was this time that God was also teaching me about things, even to continue sharpening me, listening to the voice of God. Because the guy I thought would be my husband, and God telling me to surrender, I realized I had made him an idol in my life. And I thought this would actually be the person. But as many other times that we used to spend time together, and I will realize we are not compatible. Our ways are not getting compatible, because there is a way that God gives two people who are coming together compatibility, so that they are going to walk in purpose. Marriage is not only for sexual fulfillment, it's also for a purpose. There is a purpose that God is aligning the two of you to attain. So that's why sometimes it might be you're waiting long. Sometimes for some people might be because they made a mistake, when God is correcting them. Because you remember the story of Naomi. Naomi is this woman who gets out of house of bread and goes now to Moab, where is a wash basin or a waste. And God was so faithful and kind enough that he restored him. If you are that woman that you have made or man, you've made a mistake and you walked away from where God was aligning you, God is able to align you. And if you're that person, you have not made any mistake. It's just God preparing you and helping you and giving you the stamina to be with this person. Because some of us, God is creating us and molding us to be with these people because of the purpose that we are going to have. And also it's because for His glory and honor. Because I believe if some of us never waited for all this time, we will not have a testimony of God doing and God helping you in your waiting season. Because I can attest that He has helped me. There are times, yes, I have cried myself to sleep. There are times I have enjoyed myself. I have stayed. I have enjoyed the company that I've received from God and friends and all these things. But I know a time will come that I will get a company with the person that God desires for me to be with. Because I believe God helps you to brings to your way someone that you give you the wisdom to choose. Because I believe in all these scenarios, God has brought us these men that He have helped me to choose. And here, as many have realized, they are not the best choice from God for my life. My encouragement is that don't walk in sin. Don't go and fornicate so that you get a child and that you make your mom or your baba, your father happy because you have named them. No, walk in alignment to where God is leading you and helping you to be. If you are waited and you're already seen you have made a mistake, let God encourage you. Let God restore you. Let God align you to where you're supposed to be at. Because waiting room, I was watching this movie called Bemi, Men, Nigerian words, and was speaking about the waiting room. You wait in that place, it's because your time to go to the next room or to be called, maybe he was given a scenario. You're waiting for your MD to be invited in your MD's office. You have to wait at the secretary's place. And the reason why you have to wait is because your time has not yet come for you to get inside this place. The same way is for you. If you have been waiting for God for marriage, you have been waiting for God to go to this place, to fulfill this, God to fulfill a promise in your life. It's because your time have not yet come. That's why you have not yet left that waiting area. But when you're in a waiting season, ask God to give you the strength. Let him align you, because there's a reason for you to also to be single. Maybe there are things that you need to achieve during this season. I remember there's an encouragement I received from a man. He was sharing about Elizabeth. Elizabeth was a woman who is even told they were righteous together with the husband, and the woman was barren. It's not because you are in sin that's why you're waiting for all this long. No, sometimes it's because God, your time has not yet come. And if you're walking in sin, let God help you, and you will repent of your sins and walk in purity and righteousness, and God is going to make that season to come according to his will and purpose. I believe in the word that says in Isaiah 60:22, when the time comes, I, the Lord, is going to do it swiftly. God is going to make things to move fast for you. God is going to restore you in ways that he so much desires. May God continue strengthening you and helping you in this season of waiting. Whatever you have been waiting for, whether marriage, whether for that or job, whether for that, whatever you're waiting for, let God give you the strength that you need. And if you have been pressuring someone, let's say to give birth, you've been pressuring someone to get married, please stop it. If it's not in alignment to the will of God, please stop pressuring that person. Let that person be. It hurts when someone is just saying mean words. I hear people telling you things and you wonder, why did you choose to tell me something of that kind? Please stop. Don't pressure people to go and move in season that God did not call them to be at. Because I believe God has a season and a time for each and every one of us. And we know. And you also need to ask God to help you to be able to know if you're waiting is from him or is a demonic one. If it's the wrong waiting, you are being put there by the enemy. Ask God to speed up things, God to restore you and to help you. And I know God is a faithful Father, restoring, the God who restored Naomi, the God who says whatever was eaten by worms and caterpillars and everything, canker worms, he's going to restore you. And he says he's going to give you speed according to Amos 9:30. He's going to give you a speed that you have never seen and known. I remain to be Wagio Njoroge, and this is Journey with God in Waiting for Marriage. And I pray that God is going to bless you. Please share this video to anyone who has been waiting for way too long, the one who have been thinking God is not talking to them, and let God align you to where you're supposed to be. Subscribe, comment, and like. And I know God is going to bless you. Have yourself a good time.